Okay, so today is our 8th session, and we are going to discuss about integration between the Oracle VCP and Demantra. So our agenda is we are going to talk about what are the things that we have to do at the VCP side in order to run this integration, then how to generate a forecast, and then how to export the forecast. So these two, the last part that we have already seen in the integrations, but we will again touch base on that. Okay, so this is the overall flow, how the data flows and what are the activity that we have to do. So the first thing is we have to do the setup one instance. So these all activities are performed on the VCP side. Okay, so now the first thing is we'll define one instance. So assume that you are having a fresh VCP instance, then these are the things that we have to do. But if it is an existing VCP instance, then define a setup define an instance. So that particular activity is already run. So you don't need to do. Okay, so now the first thing is run a collection. So for that we have to do set up that instance, then run a collection. So it's a standard collection, and then we have to designate the calendar for use of DM. Then load a price, designate the price list, and the NP, the new product list. So that we have to give. So these are the typical setups that you have to do, and the process or the continuous what do you call it? The monthly transaction or the monthly activity that you will do that are listed in the process. So in the process, so again we'll run the first standard collection every month or bi-monthly, and on top of that we have to run booking and shipment history programs. So it collects the history, and then they will see one by one all these steps. So let's see high level activity that we have to do. And then while launching this collection, there is one option which is called automatically launch download yes no. So that is one of the parameter. If we select yes, then the EBS full download. So that's our workflow in the Demantra that will be automatically triggered at the end of this booking and history collection program. And if we say no, then we have to run the corresponding workflows from Demantra side. Okay, so prior to that, we have to also make sure that we are moving a data from e-business side to the TMPL table. So that can be done by using this price list collection, the return history collection. So these are some additional programs that we have to run. To summarize, on monthly basis, if we want to run a Demantra, then we have to run booking and shipment history programs, and as well as there are surrounding programs which include the price list, new product, if we are doing a forecasting based on the returns. So these are the additional things that we have to run. Once all the collection is done, then go to the Demantra and run the corresponding Demantra programs, EBS full download, the EBS price list load, the return history that workflows. We need to run all these programs on the Demantra side. So this top portion, which includes standard collection, booking and shipment history, then price list, return history, and currency conversion So these are the collection programs that we need to run. But it depends, like we are not doing a forecasting based on the returns, then you don't need to run it. Or we don't know, yes, exactly, it's a RMA, yep. Okay, so that will be considered as additional supply. So the demand minus supply, so that will be net forecast that will be determined just for that purpose. Okay, so so only one option is when we are running the booking and shipment, there is one only option that we have to launch this EBS full download program automatically, or you want to take a control and then launch it. Once it is done, so that's the end, the collecting the history. Okay, so that is the first part of our this training session. Okay, so let's see one by one. So prior to that, we have to see what are the responsibility or seated responsibility which are available from the Demantra side or from VCP side. Okay, so here is the thing. So the idea is, so Demantra and Oracle VCP both are from one what do you call software development from Oracle itself, right? So that's why they are having a very strong connection or strong links between the VCP and the Demantra. So whenever we assign a user with a demand management system administrator, okay, or the demand analyst responsibility, automatically there are some things will happen in the Demantra side. Okay, so these users will be automatically created in the Demantra, and also they will get some additional access in the Demantra. Okay, so if we assign the demand management system administrator, so it means that so this user will be admin for demand management component. And if we assign the demand analyst responsibility, then automatically that corresponding user will have collaborator workbench access. He will not have that admin access, but he will have the collaborator workbench access. So the user creation and then corresponding application assignment, so that will be done. Okay, so once we create that user in VCP side. So on the same line, if we disable that user, automatically that corresponding access will be revoked. So both are simultaneous. Both are actions are happening from both the directions. And then, so what are the things that we can do from administrator? So we can collect and download the data into Demantra, and of course we can set up and modify the user group. In fact, it's like admin access, right? So we can do all these things. We can run the workflow related to demand management, and as well as we will able to upload the forecast to VCP applications like ACP, inventory optimization, SNO, and PS. So these kind of admin activity can be done by using demand management system administrator. And the demand analyst, this is a seated responsibility where you typically access the collaborator workbench and update the forecast. So that kind of stuff, you can send the notification, task. So these are the things will be done by using a demand management or demand analyst responsibility. And these are the additional, if we have the demand management with the supervisor permission setting, so these are the additional things that we have to do. If we change the permission at the user level, then automatically he will approve the forecast. So that's the additional thing, he will get it. Okay. One important thing, when we define the user in VCP side, the user will be created, corresponding application and access will be given. But the password need to be set. Okay, so if we have a single sign-on, so these are the additional things. So we once we enable the single sign-on, then the user who is user can open the Demantra application from VCP side, and once he select okay collaborator workbench from Oracle responsibility, automatically the collaborator workbench will be open. But if we don't have the single sign-on, then in that case we need to reset the password for each users, then they will able to access it. So there are the two things. If the single sign-on is there, then VCP password and Demantra password will be the same, and they can open the Demantra applications from VCP responsibilities. But if the single sign-on is not enabled, then the VCP password will be different than the Demantra password, and the Demantra password for admin has to reset first, and then they will able to use it. Okay. Single sign-on, that is more like a DBA administration work. So there is a single sign-on small server on the Oracle side itself, where it will, whenever we enable it, then the Demantra directly access that server, validate the user credentials, and the signal will be given back to the Demantra application. There are some settings in the engine parameter as well, not engine, system parameter in Demantra, where you need to enable the single sign-ons. So it is morely DBA and the system parameter where we have to play. Okay, so now once we got a responsibility, now next thing is we have to define the profile options. So all the Demantra profile options starts with MSD-DM. So if you recollect, MSD represents actually demand management, Oracle demand management applications. But now all the Demantra profile options are defined MSD underscore DEM. If it is only MSD, then it might be a belongs to that old applications. So now for example, the first profile options, it is MSD, but still it will be used in the Demantra. So in this, these profile options are seeded profile options, not seeded, default, what do you call this, configurations. For example, what is your price list, default price list, EBS price list, what is your default currency, US dollar, what is your category state. So it's a inventory, then there is one master or, then the schema, yeah. And then this is the host URL of Demantra collaborator workbench. Then master or the schema. So which on which schema we have installed a Demantra. If it is a Demantra, then Demantra DM. Then there are some now the version. So it's a 12 version or 7.3 version. And there are some profile options which are related to CTO. So if we are having CTO business, then we need to make sure that we are setting that up. Like for example, master or, so the master or in which we define the CTO bill or CTO or model bill. Yeah, here is that include a dependent demand. Uh, so if you want to collect the model bomb, if you want to collect the, then there is a two-level planning. So these are all are related to CTO. So these are again one type activity, and okay. So once these profile options are set, the next thing is we got a responsibility. We have set the profile options. Next thing is we have to define an instance. So this step is required when we are having a fresh implementation. But if the ACP is already running, or we are just adding another one org, we are rolling out this Demantra solution to another one org, then we don't need to do these steps. So if it is a fresh instance, then we have to go to this advanced planning administrator admin instance, and then we have to define what is our source instance, what we are calling. Yeah? So in my case, I'm calling as e-business, EBS. Then what is the version, what is the debilling between the VCP and e-business. And then I need to select the organizations. Very important thing, demand planning enabled. These flags need to enabled for Demantra. So for these entities, it does this booking and shipment, that history collections. Okay, so now we our setup part is done. Now the next thing is we have to run a collection. So this is a pretty standard VCP collection. So in the VCP collection, there are the two programs, planning data pool, which pulls the data from a business side to VCP staging, and ODS load, it moves the data from staging to VCP base table. So that two programs we need to run, and based on these programs, it determines the item location, then the whole hierarchy, the level hierarchy that will be determined based on these two programs. Okay. Now another one program, which is if we have a new item. Okay. Now the Demantra, how Demantra will come to know that this is a new item. So in the Demantra, okay, let's go one step back. So if it is a new item, we don't have any history, right? And then, but still we want to do consider this item, and we want to do the forecasting. So how that can be done? So for this, we have to select these are the new items which we need to plan. Even these items will be collected during the VCP collections, but we have explicitly marked this item as a new item. So the Demantra treat them as a new item and the plan accordingly. So it's just a list of the items. It's nothing more than that. We have to list down all these items. If it is a new item, then we have to mark this as a new item. But as we get more history, like after 6 months, we need to remove this item from this list. Otherwise, still these items will be treated as a new item. Sometimes what happens, you launch this new model, okay, and because of XYZ reason, then we decided that okay, let's revoke this item from market. Okay, so again you need to remove this item from Demantra, and again it will be relaunched. Again you need to add this item in the this list. If we don't do that, then it will be considered as this is an old item, and we don't have that much sale, and it will generate the forecast based on that. Okay. Okay. Now this is a program which is more specific to Demantra. So this is again one of the collection program, and it just collects the sales history, as well as the booking history. So this is a request set. So in the request set, the first program is a main core program, which is collects the shipment and booking history. So in this, we select the instance. So now we have defined e-business suite. So EBS, so that will be our instance code. Then the collection group. So you can define one collection group. It's the same as VCP collection group. And then collection method. So there are only two methods. In VCP side, there are three methods. But for Demantra, there are only two methods. One is a complete, and the second will be net change. Yes. So there is a complete. So in case of complete, it will wipe out everything and it will bring something. It will wipe out everything. It's a clean slate and bring all the data. If it is a net change, then only the whatever the record which is there in the TMPL, excluding that, remaining records will be pulled. Okay. Then the fourth option is date range type. So there are the two options. One is the date range type is absolute, and another one is a rolling. So in case of absolute, so we need to give the date from and to date. And if it is a rolling, then we have to say, okay, rolling the last 36 months forecast I need to put. So if it is a rolling, then the history collection window, that information we need to provide. And if it is absolute, then we have to provide a to and from date. Okay, so this is the exam question. So in exam, they are asking that if my date range is absolute and I am providing the collection history, this history collection window parameter, I am not providing a date, then what will happen? As it is obsolete, then we have to provide the absolute date range. So these are the from and to date. If we don't provide, program will error out. And the history collection window, whatever information we provide, that will be ignored. So we have to take a call where to select the parameter properly. Okay. So now the remaining, these are the, I think, eight parameters. These represents different demand stream. In Demantra, we call this as a demand stream, like which series that we have to consider as a history for Demantra, this Demantra forecast calculation. So we can have booking history, so which includes the booked item and book date. Or we can collect the booking history based on the book item and request date. And booking history, requested item, book date, booking history, requested item, request date. Now the question is, why there is a difference between the book date and request date? Right, so I might be booking what order today, and my request date is somewhere June. So these two dates will be different, right? So I can use that. So which parameter that I need to select, that I have to take a call. And second one is a book item and requested item. So these are the two different things. So why these are the two different things? If you recollect, in order management, there is a concept called upsell, cross-sell, downsell, substitute. So these are the relationship, right? So we define that. So customer order X item, but if we are doing upsell, so that means instead of X, we are providing the latest and new product, new model, which is a Y. So customer has requested X, but we are providing Y. So our booked item will be different than requested item. Right. So these are the cases. So just to consider that kind of scenarios, so there is a requested item and booked item. If we don't have that kind of scenario where we define a relationship, cross-sell, upsell, downsell, substitute, then these items, this booked item and requested item, both will be the same. Otherwise, it will be different. Okay. So this is so in short, there will be a 4 demand streams for booking history, where and we have to take a call whether we want to collect these or not. And then there are the shipment history. So there are 4 demand streams for shipment history. Again, there are the various permutations and combinations between the shipped item and requested item, and the ship date and requested date. So here the same case. So, so the best example is in ASCP, there is one feature called end item substitution. Okay, so now the customer has requested item A. Okay, but ASCP says, see that, okay, there is another item B which is available, and the B is substitute for A, right? So ASCP suggests that, okay, this is a recommendation from ASCP side, and the recommendation is change the item on the sales order line. So when you execute the exceptions from ASCP side, the automatically item on the sales order will get changed. So our requested item and actual shipped item both will be different. So customer has requested something X, but we are shipping Y because we got these exceptions in ASCP and we have executed it. So this is one of the scenario. And another scenario is, of course, you can use this cross-sell, upsell, downsell, and during that phase, you have the requested item is different than actual shipped item. So this is about the item. And the same case for requested date and ship date. I have requested item to be shipped out of this factory by, for example, in May, but unfortunately it is shipping. It is shipped on the June, so it's a 1 month delay. So that's why there is always different. There is the request date and ship date might not be the same. So these are the combinations. So total there are 8 demand streams. So for 8 demand streams in Demantra there are 8 series in TMPL in sales data table. So you can enable multiple demand streams. Okay. Like for example, I will collect this my shipment history where requested item and ship date. So I will collect that, and as well as I will collect one of the booking demand stream. So now the history is available if the item is shipped, but item is not shipped. Item is at the book stage right now. The manufacturing is happening. Then you still want to consider that demand for forecasting. Then you have to collect the booking history as well. So you will select one of the demand stream from booking history and one of the demand stream from shipment history. You can collect both, and Demantra will generate the forecast based on both. So I will tell you how and how that can be done. But it will collect the data. Okay. Another exam question is, out of 8 demand streams, which will provide me more useful to do accurate forecasting. Okay. The accurate forecasting is done based on the shipment only. If we are using booking history, like customer is giving me order today, but the request date somewhere in next year, then does not make any sense to plan based on the booking history. If we plan material to be ready based on the booking history, then it has to wait for 1 year. So the booking history is always not a good demand stream for forecasting. It is always better to take a shipment history. And in the shipment history, the requested item, shipped item and shipped item and ship date. Requested item and the ship date. So this demand stream will provide you more accurate forecast, because this is what a customer need is, and this is when we are shipped out of our factory. So you don't need to hold your inventory. Like you generate a forecast, material will be ready, and then it will hold for a few more time. Because it has to go, for example, there is a 1 month post-processing time or something to clear the hold, commercial hold and all. So it does. So better you plan against that actual ship date. That is actually point of sale point of sale. So consider that and do the forecasting. So the answer is the more accurate forecast history will be generated by using a shipment history, requested item, ship date. So this is a demand state. Okay. Now the next thing is you want to collect all the orders. If you select yes, then it will collect all the orders. You don't need to provide the include order type and exclude order type. When you say no, when you say don't include all the orders, then you have to provide either include order types or exclude order type, either of these two, not both. Okay. And then if there are, for example, there are 20 different order types or there are 100 order types across all the businesses, then you cannot have that list against this parameter. Then in that case, you can have, there is another one parameter, type selection method. So there are values like you can have a SQL script or you can have a value set. So that kind of options are there. So it based from the value set, it will get all the order types and it will it will does this collection. And then the last option is launch download. So when it's a download means it's nothing but it's a EBS full download. So that's a workflow in Demantra. So this program will move data to the TMPL and the EBS full download that will move data from TMPL to the Demantra base table. So whole activity can be synchronized or automated. If you select yes, usually we set it as a no because just to want to make sure that all the data is collected and everything is smooth. Okay, so now there are some additional programs here in this request set. Okay, so the next program is push setup parameter. So what it does that it push some information from VCP side to e-business side. In a business side, it will have some table where it is going to list down these are the organization for which I am getting a forecast. So these are the demand plan enabled organizations. So this is the one of the setup which will move from VCP to a business side. So that will be done by push setup parameters and then collect CTO level. So this is another one program which collects the data related to the CTOs and okay, but there are further two programs which I have not listed. So these two programs, it creates the level data. So if you see, we are having a 3-table architecture, then this history collection, that's only loading a data into sales TMPL. Okay, but based on that, it has to generate an item for TMPL and the location TMPL data, right? So that data will be generated by another two programs. So what it does that in short, from the sales data, it will take a unique combination of item, okay, and load that item data along with corresponding level data. If we have enabled any level, like if it is item X, then what is the planning category, what is the purchasing category, that data will be loaded. Because in the sales TMPL, you will not have that data. So that information will be loaded by that another one table. And on the same line, there is a one location table. What it does that it loads the data for location, identify the unique combination of from the sales TMPL, load the data and add additional location level values. So it's not something one program does all these activity. There are multiple programs which need to be run. And for that there is one request set which we can use it. Okay. Now the next thing is how the category information will be received, how the level information will be received. Level information will be received. So unique combination will be determined from sales TMPL. Okay. The level information will be determined based on these standard collection programs, because in the standard collections it collects the category as well. So it takes the value from this program. So the first program is we have to run the standard collection. If it is already running, ignore this step and then go to this whole request set. Okay, so that's all about collection. Okay. Yeah, the exam question is, if we define if it is a rolling, okay, and then if we don't provide the value against this history collection window, then what will happen? If it is a rolling, then this parameter is something mandatory. We have to provide. Right now, this is not optional on this parameter screen, but we need to explicitly mention that. If we don't mention, the program will error out. Or it will ask, I think on the same line, the question might be if we provide both the parameters. Like if it is a rolling, and the collection window is 36, and I have also mentioned the from and to date. If it is a rolling, then only collection window parameter will be considered, from and to date will be ignored. It will be shown in the log file of that program that this is ignored. Okay, so now next thing is we have moved data to the TMPL. So data is there in the TMPL. Now we have to move the data from TMPL to the Demantra base table like TEP items, TEP locations, TEP sites, sales data. So these are the base tables. So how that can be done? So that can be done by using these workflows. So now if you see, this is a VCP responsibility, Demantra Management System Administrator. So it's kind of admin for Demantra demand management. And there is one option called Workflow Manager. Okay, once you click on that Workflow Manager, this screen will be open. If it is single sign-on is enabled, then you don't need to enter any password. But if it is not enabled, then you need to enter password, then this page will be displayed. Sorry. Okay. So now here, then we have to run this our EBS full download program. So which is this one, and we know how to run this program. So we know that to run. And these need to be run only when we have selected launch download is equal to no. If we have already selected yes, then this workflow will be automatically triggered. Okay, so now the price list. So in the price list, so this is again the collection program, and here we need to provide date range and what are the different price lists that we need to collect. So like collect the price list from today, or no, not today. For if we are collecting history for last 3 years or 2 years, from that day till next 5-6 years, depending on your forecast horizon. So collect all these price between these two date, and these we need to provide the price list names. What are the different prices that we need to consider? Okay, so now we can collect up to the 30 price list. We can collect the 30, but if you want to collect more than 30, then we have Oracle provides some scripts that we need to run. So it will allow us to pull more data. Okay, now once it is done, then we have to run this EBS price list download workflow. Where is the EBS price list download? So it will move the data from TMPL to the base table. Okay, so now this all about VCP side. Now we have collected all the data from e-business side to the VCP side, now to the Demantra side. Now the next thing is we need to run a Demantra engine. We have collected a history. Then further we have moved from Demantra staging table to the Demantra base table. Now we have to run an engine. So that's our next step. So okay. So now, first thing, when we have installed Demantra, then one type setup that we have to do, that is done through engine administrator. So this is our engine administrator. So here we need to register Demantra engine to this server, to this machine. First, that is the important thing. So let's register that. Yes. So when you click on this configure engine settings, then there is a one option called register. Okay. So what it does that, so it what do you call it assumes that we can use this server resources for generating a forecast for doing all these calculations. Okay. It's a very good concept where we can have two servers, or we can have two servers where we are going to install this engine, and we are going to register at both the places. Okay, and so what it does that the Demantra engine divides the job, and it passes this information to one server, and some set of data will be passed to the one server, and some set of data passed to the another server. So this kind of structure will be used when you are having heavy load on the Demantra engine. Usually what I've seen that there will be only one server. But if you are having very 5-6 years of history, and we are generating a forecast for next 5 years, then in that case we need that this kind of structure where we needed two servers. This is again exam questions where in exam it will ask, okay, so now we have to use the two servers to run the Demantra engine. So do we need to install the engine administrator on both the machines, or do we need to only register on both the machines? So engine administrator is like a controlling body. This controlling body should be at the one place, but engine must be registered on both the sides, both the servers. So if we do that, then you will see there are two servers name here. Now it shows the local host, but if there are two servers, then you will see another one name here. Okay, so let's register it. As I mentioned, this is a one-time activity. You don't need to do every time. So here, one another important thing is, when the engine get error out, then corresponding information will be stored at this directory. So if you go to the folder where the Demantra has installed, so there is a one folder called engine 2k. In that folder, this is a log where we'll get a log if something is error out. And all the settings about Demantra engine and everything that will be stored in this setting.xml. Okay, so these are the few important things from this engine setting. Now, next thing is run engine. So this is here where you have to come. Now there is one user ID and password. So what is this user ID and password? So this user ID and password is nothing but your schema user ID and password. It's not a Demantra admin password. It's not collaborative workbench password. It's a Demantra schema. So when we install a Demantra, at that time we have to give a schema name as well as a schema password. So that schema password will be is required here. So now once I have entered my password, and I will say connect. When I say connect, then this run engine option will be enabled, and there are further few settings at the down. So here there are some things called how you want to run an engine in what are the different mode. One is a batch mode, so that means you are generating a forecast for all combinations. When you say simulation, yeah, we are generating a forecast only for specific cases. So what are these specific cases? How that will be selected? We'll see later. It's like a simulation. You are running a simulation for some small batch. You are like adjusting a history, and now history was 100. Now you will make a history as a 200, and now we'll say, okay, now with the 200, show me what will be the forecast. So that's a simulation. Okay, now, so these are the things. So first thing is, when we want to run a simulation, then we have to select the mode as a simulation, and our engine should be running. We have to keep our engine in ideal phase. So it will just wait for the signal for simulation. It will process the simulation and it will show the result on worksheet. If this engine is not working at back end, then the simulation request will not be processed. So we have to keep this what do you call, keep this in a mode, keep this engine running in this mode. Then and then it will accept, otherwise it will not. Okay, so that's the thing. Now let's go with the batch mode. And if we select the batch mode, for batch mode, these are the engine profile. So what are these engine profile? So if you go to business modular, if you go to the business modular, then go to parameter, system parameter, and you go to engine. And here, these are the, this is the mode. And for this, sorry, these are the profiles. Okay, so for this profile, I can have different setting. Like for this profile, I will say generate a forecast for next 5 years. Okay, then demand stream will be something different. Some value profile settings will be different. So that whole set called engine profile. So I have to select that engine profile here. Okay, so that's from engine profile, and this is actual engine executable file name, which will submit this our engine run request. Once we set all these things, then we have to say run. So it generates some logs and we start processing. So I think it will take some time. I'm expecting it will not take more than 5 minutes. Okay, and then so there are two options, like if you want to kill engine manager immediately or finish the current task and exit. So what it does, that it will generate some batches for this 10 combination. This is the one batch, another 15 combination, another one batch. For one, this is one combination, this is a third batch. So it generates the batches and it passes these batches it generate the forecast for each batches. If there are multiple engines, then it will pass whole this batch to one engine, another batch to the another server. So it's distribute the work. Okay, so now yeah, so once it is done, once it's finished, then instead of this stop engine, it will show start engine icon. So this is then you will come to know, okay, engine is finished. Okay, now let's go back to PPT. So we have seen that how to register engine, and then we have also seen that how to configure engine. Then thing is how to export the forecast. So now assume that we have run the engine, then we have given 1 week of time to user to validate this output, and after at the end of that 1 week, what we'll do that we will export the forecast. So this will be our actual monthly cycle. So for that we have to run this integration interface. Yes, so it has completed in 2 minutes 49 seconds. Now I got this access, so it is successfully completed. Okay, so now if I go back to collaborator workbench, then I should able to see some values. Yeah, it has generated some values here. Yeah, so the forecast is generated. Now the next thing is we have to export this forecast. Yeah, it has generated some values. Yeah. Okay, so I will log out. I will go back to workflow manager. Here we have to select schema group as EBS workflows. Then there is there are some local forecast, global forecast. Okay, so let's export this local forecast. Okay, so it has got error out. The reason is my VCP, my Demantra instance is not connected to VCP side. So it tried to call that denom procedure, it failed. But otherwise, it has exported data to one of the materialized view. So data is there. So this is the way we have to export the forecast. So if you have the global forecast, so ACP accept the local forecast, global forecast, both. That's all about. So it is today we have seen how to pull a data, how to generate a forecast, and how to export the data. So it's typically our monthly cycle, excluding that setup part that we have seen. The setup part will be it's a one-time activity. Otherwise, it will be our monthly cycle. Okay, that's it from my end.